So predominantly, though, you work with women to help women awaken to their own goddess nature. Is it then the feminine who trains the masculine? So in awakening a woman to, so what exactly do you teach? What exactly do you, how does it work? Because it's like, who works with who awakens what?
Okay.
How do we then show up for each other? How do I then know to trust the feminine? Which feminine do we trust?
Lovely questions. Thank you. So these are all lovely questions. So the first thing is, when I speak about, of course, I'm speaking about my own experience, and I'm also speaking of a woman who is truly connected with her feminine side and a man who is connected with the masculine. So it's like, first let's speak about the ultimate. So when, and that's kind of like the highest level of, I think, highest level of awakening, spirituality, connection, consciousness. Let's first start there. It's like, and everyone's, male or female, ultimate goal should be reaching there. You know, it's like, because
like a union with spirit.
Self-mastery. It's kind of like go on a self-mastery journey and master what you have, what you already have, because we are all given gifts, and we all have our bodies, our brains, our consciousness, and we can, with effective work, with effective formulas, we can tap into higher level of consciousness, and we can tap into higher level of awareness, which changes everything, like your behavior. As a behavioral expert, human behavior expert, when I look at human behavior, when I look at human behavior that are destructive, and when I look at human behavior that are more healthy and more progressive, there is a whole different level of mind and consciousness behind it, because our behaviors are not free from our thinking habits and our level of consciousness. So the level of our consciousness determines the level of our actions and reactions and behaviors and everything. It's like you can't, so people think without changing their mind, without transforming their mind, or without changing their consciousness level, they can act differently and get different results, which is a big mistake, because you can't. It's like you act with whatever level of consciousness you are in, and unless that level changes, you can't act differently and you can't get different results. It's like, even if you go to a bookstore, you choose the books. If you're in a destructive mindset, you choose the books that are going to destruct your life, like in relationship.
Reinforce your,
it's all about the mind. It's all about the level of consciousness. So
belief system and the way we perceive the world, and we just keep navigating to things that are going to reinforce that perception.
If you want to change your life, you need to work on your mind and you need to work on your consciousness levels. That's all. It's like when that changes, your behavior changes. So male or female, spiritual journey and all esoteric journeys and spiritual journeys and all, when you look at all geniusness in the world ever, it is an evolved level of consciousness which has a lot of light and a lot of awareness and a lot of usage of what you have and bringing your gifts out. So on the ultimate level, when we look at a woman, because of the Rahim and Rahman, and which is like the goddess and God, which is also the story of Virgin Mary, you know, she was the brave one saying, this is Rahim and Rahman, you know, God's child, that's it, because the rest are details. And at one point, that is fully true, because this is where it happens. It's just the of course, sperm of the you know, man is necessary as kind of like the spice and the shaper, but it's like, this is where it all happens, you know? So it's like a woman, when she has awareness and when she's on a higher level of consciousness, she becomes sacred. She becomes a healing point, like point of healing. She is the one connected with the divine. She is the mosque. She is the church.
She's the channel. She's a temple.
She's the
place which the light can rest.
Yes, she's the temple. So the Rahim and Rahman, only when the woman is in a higher consciousness, which, quote, because this is very important, which will only happen if women understand clearly that they have 70% feminine energy, spiritual energy, and they spend 70% of their lives, time, energy, focus, connecting with spirit rather than connecting with the world. So the way the feminine becomes a goddess and the way the path of the feminine includes an intense spiritual journey. Everyday hours of meditation, everyday hours of breath work, everyday hours of connection, and living your life withdrawing your attention from the world. Because a woman, for her to succeed and for her to get results, only 30% being in action is enough. Because the woman creates with her being. She doesn't create by staying in action.
How do you tell that to a modern woman today living?
Yeah, I started telling that. I mean, it's like someone has to
shift. How do you take someone, and maybe this is the work you do, how do you take someone on a journey to change their life whilst they are living in their life, and to, when they currently have jobs and they've already built a world around them, that they have to work 12, 15 hours a day to make, you know, and they're hustling, they're working in a men's corporate environment, a bank or a finance.
It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to.
So how do you then go, we need to completely shift everything, and we need to do this in a way that doesn't fully compromise your whole existence? Or could you say, because you went, I'm going to either, it was a do or die situation for you. So you're like, I'm going to.
Yeah, but it didn't happen for me overnight as well. I mean, it did happen to me with, you know, bringing the light out. And then I remember I just couldn't stop things. It's like with that light and with what changed in my being, I needed more time to meditate. I needed more time to do breath work. I remember after that retreat, when I went home, spending at least 2-3 hours every day meditating, doing breath work, and you know, it's like, I mean, what I do right now is I'm launching a new product, which is needed and asked for from my students, which is going to be kind of like a life journey for women. The Awaken the Goddess journey, we say, but it's also very much aligned with, you know, the art, mastering the art of being a woman, the book I'm working with, and it's basically about mastering the art of being a woman and living your womanhood and living your life as a master, as a woman. And that journey, the reason why I'm creating that journey is because I have realized it doesn't happen overnight, and women need a teacher and guidance to remind them daily and weekly and monthly. It is very different than men. Why? I'm going to say why now. Okay. Because this is a man's world, and because men are much more talented in manifesting, creating structures, creating systems, and like we've been doing meetings since yesterday, and you've been showing me a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things, which I wasn't doing, because it's like the way man sees the world is so much more intense than the way woman sees the world. It's like you see details and you see structure and you see forms and you see patterns we don't see, you know, because we're too much in the spiritual. So with that, when you look at the world, laws and systems and buildings is created by man. Law, order, you know, politics, economics, capitalism, the whole system, money, even the coaching industry, self-development, it's all created by men. Because man creates systems, man creates formulas, man creates structures, and woman can't do that as good as man because you are much more talented. So with that being said,
or because it's done within a system, but the woman can't do that within the masculine system.
No, the thing is, we can't do. We don't have that. It's like we are not fully capable of that. We are not as talented as you are, because the reason why you can do it is it's simply because you have a penis. It's gonna sound funny, but because when you deeply think of the male body, like why the male body has more muscle, why the male body is more strong, and while the male body has a penis, you're gonna realize, because the male body is to function in the world. It's like the whole energy. The whole energy is out,
directional.
And your body is masculine and strong because you are here.
The action.
You are here to do more. You're here to stay more in action. You're more powerful, and you can stay in action more than like hours and energy. Like you can go ahead and work 10 hours a day without crashing, without being unhappy. You can hold on to much more stress than I can. It's like, and that's the main problem in relationships.
Saying that you're very impressive, and you have mastered your masculine energy. You know how to use it and direct it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like very interesting what's happening in the.
You're very able to. But it's not your nature.
So the thing is, we need to look at it as man, 70% male energy, muscle, muscular, strong, physical, out there in the world, adapting to action, adapting to world stress. When women with 70% female energy, which is more soft, which is more loving, which is more, when you look at the woman's sexual organ, expanding inwards. So the whole energy is inward, and it's grabbing you inward to the other world, to the spiritual world. When you don't pay that attention to that, and that's like staying in that energy as a woman, staying connected with the spiritual world and spending my time and energy, 70% of my time and energy in spirituality is very healthy for me. When I do that and live a spiritual life and live a domestic life or live a life, and that's what the whole, covering up women is all about. It's like, I mean, of course, religious traditions and esoteric traditions have some explanations, some explanations that make sense. It's like if a woman can't withdraw her energy from the material world, you put a cloth on top of her veil and say, withdraw your energy, you're too much in the material world. Like, I don't need that because I'm already not in the material world. I'm not lost in the material world.
Impose that onto someone, which is with the dogma and religiosity.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, that's another topic. Yeah, so basically for a woman to become the best version of herself and to explore her unlimited potential, which is connecting with the sacred feminine energy within and becoming a goddess, which is one with God and one with the universe, is by choosing a spiritual path. Simple as that. It's like it's not gonna ever happen otherwise. And by choosing a spiritual path, and I'm gonna come to how, because for modern woman, it's not gonna happen overnight. And that's why I feel like I have a big mission to help women in the world, not by doing retreats and workshops and this and that, but helping them truly, like by staying with them, guiding them throughout the way, every day. The reason they need it, because this is a man's world, and if women don't have a guide with them, every week, every day, a guide, someone they listen to, telling them this is the male's way, that's not your way, over and over again, they get lost.
Of course.
Because women condition much more easier than men. Women get lost into the world, and women start, and I see women on social media and everywhere, even women I thought would be wiser because they are older women talking about manifestation, like women don't manifest. What manifestation? We create. Like, how did you forget about your creative power and teaching women to manifest? Men set goals and create action plans and focus on manifestation. Manifestation is an outward energy. Women stay connected with their truth, with heaven within, the Rahim and Rahman, and that creative energy just manages all. I don't have to think in details. I stay in the flow, and when I open my eyes, my life is heaven. I don't have to do as much as man. You know, a wise woman is a woman who, instead of going out there and working like men, setting goals and thinking about details, is a woman who lets men do that, lets men do the talking and do the structuring, create systems, and she brings the vision and the connection and truth and creative power. And when she opens her eyes, she doesn't have to do 10 things. She just does one thing, and then she has a life she's grateful of. But getting there for a woman is tough because the world is structured with man's rules, business world, economy, money. So, for example, the relationship with money.
Look at New York and the streets.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the relationship with money is something truly needs to be healed for women. Because if I follow the man's rules when managing money, which is again includes structure and formulas, and one word is like a very male word, is calculation. If I go into that energy, calculating, it kills my already existing abundant energy. Like, I don't calculate. The woman, that feminine and goddess, is not here to calculate. She's here to flow. She's here to trust. She's here to stay in that divine energy, and everything happens the way she wants. But the problem is, woman got conditioned, and woman started living life with man's rules, and they lost their power, and they lost their abundance, and they lost that free spirit and connection. It's like we won't get results following man's rules, and the man's rules is everywhere. The man's rules are everywhere. That's why women need a guide like me the whole time in their life, saying, "Oops, no, that's not the way. You're calculating. Don't calculate. Come back into the flow." Or trying to manifest. Oops, no. Meditate. Stop trying to manifest. Let go of the goals. Connect with spirit and creative energy. And then you'll have a vision about your life. And when that vision is strong enough, you'll open your eyes and it's there. You know, that's the female way. It's like with elegance and not doing much, and connecting with your wisdom and connecting with light. And we lost that. And the most amazing thing is, for example, women, this is going to sound funny, but I know women who are watching this will understand when I say, women do not have the same ability to judge as men do. Like, men are great judges. Men should be judges, by the way, because you judge, and in a good way. We can't. It's like we're not capable of judging ourselves or others. When we judge, we're too male, and we lost our connection with ourselves. We are love, period. We love everything. We don't know how to judge, and we shouldn't know how to judge, because we are here to bring love. That is what the world needs. We are here to bring light. We're here to light the world, not make it heavy. Men are here to make it heavier and judge. They need the male energy judges. We have 30% male energy, of course. I'm not talking about not judging at all, but little bit of maybe. Men need to judge, And judging is not a bad thing for a man because you evolve with judging. You need to judge to create systems. You need to calculate to create better systems and buildings and go to the moon, and that's male energy.
To discern. I want to just talk about the masculine and feminine because I understand what you're speaking about, but maybe people who are new to this might mistake when we talk about masculine and feminine, we're not talking about men and women, we're talking about energy expression.
Yes.
A man can move with 70% feminine energy, even though he's in a man's body, and awaken that and use that and move in a completely different way if he so chooses to.
No, I wouldn't say 70% because then we would be saying something like a man can have the womb and give birth. But it's like maybe we can say a man can tap into high feminine energies as well, but he can't stay in that.
He can't.
Because if he could stay, he would be giving birth. Because that's the result of what happens in the body. So if I would be able to stay 70% in male energy, my body would form a penis. It's not happening.
So,
you know, because it's like form, the physical form is the result of energy.
So someone like Osho, a teacher like Osho, why are so many spiritual teachers men then? Like spirit, like guru, like
balancing the generations and generations of spiritual lack in the male world.
That's interesting.
And why are some women working as hard as men and staying in action, balancing the masculine energy that wasn't used for generations and generations. And also why are some men gay, again balancing the feminine energy that's not used. In the family there is this huge feminine energy that was suppressed. Of course the next generation, and you do tests, he has a lot of feminine energy because there has been generations and generations of suppressed feminine energy, and no matter what you have in the physical form, you have more feminine energy, but not as much as women. No gay man has the same level of feminine energy as a woman, but it is in between. They have more feminine energy than male.
I really relate to this energy of tapping into high energy.
Yeah.
And then manifesting, like allowing things to...
Yeah, but it's not, what I'm speaking about is not the high energy, it's spiritual energy, it's the creative energy. The way you are tapping into the highest level of energies is by, again, 70% staying in action. Like the way you're meditating is by reading and...
Connecting through scanning, through the texts.
It still involves doing. The spiritual path of male is different than the spiritual path of woman.
Study. Yes. Spiritually, I study.
Yes, you stay in action. You study.
And I'm not studying physically.
Systems.
I'm connecting to a technology, to connecting to source, through a system to awaken it, using a tool to allow me to awaken the light.
Yeah, reading and
it's not physical.
Yes.
It's using a system. But would breath work not be a system?
No, it is, but you don't need it as much as I do need it. That's what I'm saying. Like, women need effortlessness more than men. First of all, our bodies are not as strong as men. So if we spend as much time in the world as men, we get sick. We burn out. We're not capable. We're just not.
I see that.
So we need more rest.
Who are like very alpha women, who are businesswomen, who are
but it's like
getting sick
get
a lot.
Old,
They
get sick. They get old. Their relationships fail. They have.
There's always something that they're really. There's definitely. So how does a woman become a super successful powerhouse, an entrepreneur, living her best self, and still fully embody the feminine?
By using the feminine laws instead of the masculine laws. Like, you know me, I have companies and I have male co-founders and I'm working with male, and And the way I function in the world is by using my feminine rules, not by getting conditioned with the male thing.
Do you need to rely on men? Do you need the masculine, or can you do it all by yourself? Could you?
It's not need, it's the perfect balance. It's like, I wouldn't even call it need, I would call it more necessary to get results.
You're still the boss.
Yes and no. It's like you said, it's like a dance. I mean, all of these are the man world rules. That's what I'm referring to. For example, someone being the boss and someone working for him or her exists in the ego's conceptual work.
Okay.
So I might be.
I'm also using this term to give people, other people a sense.
I'm trying to kind of like open a window.
Where are people coming into this conversation from? It's like, I'm saying,
I'm trying to show them something else.
You're absolutely right, but equally on paper, you're the boss.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, so like in the masculine rules, but actually as an experience when you're meeting, it's something completely different.
Okay, so in a man's and female's perspective,
because we have to
the man,
the lens with
the man will view the world with the material reality, which is she's the boss or he's the boss, and I work for her or him or this and that. When women start viewing the world like men do, what happens is, for example, in a situation where I'm the boss in material world and you are the one who's working with me, or someone else, a male. If I get lost in the male's rules, and if I'm conditioned in the man's world, because I don't understand the world and the system like men do, I become this, and when I get lost in that world and when I start seeing myself as the boss, I become this bossy bitch people don't like. Because as a woman, I can't manage ego, I can't manage the world systems like men.
Is there anything wrong with being a bossy bitch?
So I fuck up. No, it's like, and then things don't, it's like people don't like her.
But I don't think that's the problem. What I'm understanding
that's usually the problem.
But because you could say I'm a bossy bitch and people don't like me and whatever, which I think you'd be completely fine with. But I think it's more about your contracted version of your truth.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because I am not buying that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I stopped relating to man's rules many years ago, and I'm functioning with my own rules, which is spirit, at the level of that connection where I am. People don't feel that boss or this or that energy. I fully transform that. And we are friends and we are brothers and sisters, and I bring that reality. When you ask people who work with me, they don't feel that bossy energy at all because it's the man's world. I don't buy that. This is my world, and in my world we are sisters and brothers, and this is spirit, and it's kind of like this wisdom of connecting with humanity in a naked way. Like being beyond the ego.
Because it's also,
that's female.
It's also about what are we working towards? What's the purpose of all of this work? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you showing it up in the world? Why are you building things? For what reason? Because you're building from a feminine perspective to awaken the feminine, so the feminine can be in service to the world, to awaken the world, so the world can ultimately heal.
Yeah, I mean, all the wars and chaos in the world, it's feminine's responsibility.
So through this through people doing this work with you, it's not just about embodying their feminine. That has then a knock-on effect.
Yes.
So, and there's a bigger picture to you step in. First, I'm going to show you how to step into your power. And then what? Well, then you can create from that place of your power. Okay, and then what? Well, then the knock-on effect is that's going to influence the masculine to step into his power, I'm assuming. And then what? Well, then we have a shift in how the world works. So the world starts to change the fundamental structure of how we are operating in the world with this imbalance, which is what's currently causing much of the distortion in the world, which you read in the papers, or we see on the TV, or we see in the way we consume, or the way we waste, or the way there's an imbalance of poverty, wealth, poverty, whatever it is. It's this imbalance, and it can be regulated when the feminine fully, as I understand, takes ownership of their own essence.